In today's video, we will be looking at the GTX 970 in 2022. Now this graphics card was released in 2014 and came with 4GB of GDDR5 memory. This particular graphics card is the EVGA SC version, or super clocked version. Now I'm going to take a very quick unboxing and then we'll get into the benchmarks of 7 modern games and we'll see what this graphics card can really do in 2022. So without further ado, let's unbox this graphics card. So obviously it's a used graphics card. I actually got this a really good deal. So it's just like the just that kind of standard sort of plastic packaging that you get with most graphics cards. So there we go, we eventually got that out. It was a bit of a struggle, but we got there. So here it is, the EVGA GTX 970 4GB version. This is the, like I said, the SC superclock version. It's got no backplate unfortunately, but again, this is quite an old graphics card, 2014, so you just kind of respect that. It's a dual slot design with a dual fan addition. It takes 2 6-pin PCIe connectors, so a little bit hungry, but a 500 watt power supply is more than enough for this. Now, as I was saying, I actually got this for £40 in a local deal, which I think is a really good price. On eBay, you're looking about 80 to maybe 90 sort of pounds, so it's quite a good saving there, I thought. Quite a good deal. So yeah, moving on to the side here, we have a display port, HDMI port and 2 DVI ports, so you could hook up 4 monitors to this if you wanted to. And it's got all the modern display ports that you need, so it's all good. So this card actually does look quite in good condition. It seems like the previous owner obviously kept it quite well, so hopefully it will really perform well and we'll have low temperatures, which is what we're hoping for. I think we're ready to move on to the benchmark. So on to the benchmarks for the GTX 970 4GB. Our first game up is GTA 5, and at 1080p low we had an average of 156, a minimum of 74 and a maximum of 188. 1080p medium, an average of 144, a minimum of 100 and a maximum of 183. So as you can see here, we could even go up to high with GTA 5. It's very playable with the GTX 970. Fortnite now, 1080p low, but with epic view distance, we had an average of 215, minimum of 128 and a maximum of 380. The 1080p medium results was an average of 145, a minimum of 95 and a maximum of 216. So as we can see here, 1080p medium Fortnite, very playable. You could again even knock that up to high if you really wanted to and probably still get about 100 average FPS, so very good showing so far for the GTX 970. Watch Dogs Legion now, 1080p low, an average of 59, a minimum of 36 and a maximum of 97. The 1080p medium results was an average of 53 and a minimum of 35 and a maximum of 77. So as we can see here, 1080p low is probably going to be your preferred resolution, although 1080p medium would be fine as well. 60 FPS, 1080p low, that's enough. So now Stray, 1080p low, average of 78, a minimum of 69 and a maximum of 100. 1080p medium results was an average of 72, a minimum of 60 and a maximum of 94. So as we can see here, 1080p medium would be perfectly fine, although 1080p high would probably bring down that minimum below 60, but for Stray that's probably perfectly fine. 1080p medium, 1080p high on the GTX 970 would be fine. Forza Horizon 5 now, 1080p low, an average of 75, a minimum of 61 and a maximum of 94. The 1080p medium results was an average of 61, a minimum of 48 and a maximum of 74. So as we can see here, 1080p low, you would have a minimum of 60 at the lowest, so that's probably what I would recommend, although 1080p medium would be perfectly fine with an average of 61, but you will get a few drops below 60. So yeah, 1080p low is certainly a pass on the GTX 970. And Rainbow Six Extraction now, 1080p low, an average of 126 with a minimum of 99 and a maximum of 151. And the 1080p medium results was an average of 89 and a minimum of 68 and a maximum of 106. So as we can see here, 1080p medium would be very good for Rainbow Six on the GTX 970. The lowest minimum result was 68 frames per second, so 1080p medium would be perfectly fine. And our last game now, Cyberpunk 2077. 1080p low, an average of 58, a minimum of 10 and a maximum of 186. 1080p medium results was an average of 49 and a minimum of 31 and a maximum of 68. So as we can see here, 1080p low, more or less 60 FPS average for the GTX 970, which is actually a really good result. Yes, you will get a few drops, and probably 10 is a little bit too low. It's probably more like 20, but that's the very lowest that we had, so that's the lowest it's recorded. But you will get a few drops at 1080p low, and probably just putting it down to say like 900p medium probably would be a little bit more safer, just to get your 60 FPS average FPS, and your minimums probably at only about 50 or 45. So it's up to you, but 1080p low is playable with the GTX 970 on Cyberpunk 2077. So to conclude, for the GTX 970 4GB, this is actually still a good card in 2022. It's not going to be breaking any records, but for the price, I only paid £40, but for the price, it's probably about sort of £60 to £80 in most places, or round about the sort of $70 to $90 sort of range, I would think. So really, for the value that you're getting, is actually a very good card, and if you can pair it with a decent system like I have with the 12100F and 16 gigabytes of RAM, then you've certainly got a good PC there and a good setup there, you know, and it is overall a solid card still in 2022. And if you still have it, obviously, from all those years ago, then it's been a good purchase, because you can still play modern games even today. So you've certainly got your money's worth if you did purchase it from release. But if not, and you're in the second-hand market, I'd certainly look at it. Although there are obviously a lot better cards out there, but for the price, I think it's a good option. Certainly, if you're looking at, say, an APU build, I certainly wouldn't do an APU build anymore, because the GTX 970 plus, say, like a cheap Ryzen or even the 12100F from Intel, it's more than capable, going to get you by, and it's probably going to be the same price as an APU build, so you're going to get far better performance with the GTX 970, so I wouldn't go with an APU build. So overall, if you're wanting to build a very budget PC, then GTX 970 is a good card. I hope you liked this video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.